All right, so today we're diving into some serious cutting-edge AI stuff.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, this deep dive is all about DeepSeek-V3,
Okay.
this brand new large language model that, everyone's kind of buzzing about. And
Right.
we've got excerpts from the actual research paper.
Oh, wow.
Tables, figures, all the juicy details.
Nice.
So you can really see what's under the hood.
That's what I love about these deep dives. You always get right into the source material. It's interesting is that it's open source.
Yeah.
Most of these models, especially the really powerful ones, are kept,
Sure.
under wraps by the big tech companies.
Yeah.
So this is a really cool opportunity to kind of peek behind the curtain and see how these things are actually built.
Yeah, so our mission today is to really understand what makes DeepSeek-V3 unique, how it was built, and why it's causing such a stir in the AI world.
Sounds good.
And the first thing that jumped out at me was the sheer size of this thing.
Oh, yeah.
671 billion parameters.
That's huge.
It's massive.
I mean, for context, that's like
Yeah.
having over 500 billion tiny little dials
Right.
controlling how the model processes information.
That's incredible. And they trained this thing.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
They trained it surprisingly fast
I know, that's what
and cheap in less than 2 months
Yeah.
for a mere $5.576 million.
That's like pocket change compared to some of these big tech projects.
Practically pennies, yeah.
How did they manage that?
Well, it all comes down to clever engineering.
Okay.
They were laser focused on training efficiency,
Okay.
tweaking algorithms,
Yeah.
Squeezing every ounce of performance out of the hardware.
Wow.
They even used a lower precision data format called FP8,
SP8.
which is like representing numbers in a computer less precisely,
Okay.
but much faster.
So it's a trade-off?
It is a trade-off, but in this case, it seems to have worked brilliantly.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
It makes you think why other projects aren't adopting this approach.
Well, this level of optimization is no easy feat. It requires a deep understanding of both the AI models and the hardware they run on.
So a big brain on a budget.
Yeah, you could say that.
Got it. So next up, this mixture of experts architecture.
Yes.
Sounds a bit intimidating.
It's actually a pretty intuitive concept once you break it down.
Okay.
Imagine a team of specialists, each an expert in a different field,
Okay.
coming together to solve a problem.
All right.
That's essentially how DeepSeek-V3's mixture of experts architecture, or MOE, works.
So instead of using all 671 billion parameters for
Right.
every single task,
Yep.
it just calls on the experts it needs for a specific job.
Precisely, only about 37 billion parameters are active at any given time,
Wow.
making it far more efficient.
So you wouldn't ask a brain surgeon to bake a cake.
Exactly.
Right.
You wouldn't use brain surgery parameters when all you need is baking expertise.
Okay. That analogy makes it crystal clear.
Good.
But how do they make sure these different experts are actually working together smoothly?
That's where their innovation comes up.
Okay. Yeah.
They created something called auxiliary loss-free load balancing,
Okay.
which ensures each expert is contributing effectively without needing someone to constantly, micromanage them.
Right.
It's like a well-oiled team working seamlessly towards a common goal.
This whole mixture of experts thing, it makes me think about how our human brains specialize too.
Yeah.
I mean, could this be a key to developing more general artificial intelligence?
Interesting.
Like something that can, learn and adapt across many different domains like we do.
That's a fascinating thought, and it's definitely a possibility. I mean, by mimicking the brain's modular structure, we might be able to unlock new levels of AI capabilities.
All right, moving on to the next interesting feature, multi-token prediction. I'm curious to learn how that works.
Okay, so imagine a chess player strategizing several moves ahead.
Okay.
That's essentially what DeepSeek-V3 does.
Really?
Most language models predict only the next word,
Right.
but DeepSeek-V3 predicts multiple words in advance.
So it's like it's thinking ahead
Exact.
for a more nuanced output.
It improves performance,
Okay.
but it also opens up possibilities for faster generation.
Interesting.
In fact, the research mentions an 85–90% acceptance rate for the second predicted token.
Wow.
So that means the model is exceptionally good at anticipating what comes next.
Okay, so I'm seeing a theme here. DeepSeek-V3 seems to be all about maximizing both efficiency and performance.
You're catching on.
Would you say that's a fair assessment?
Absolutely. They've really pushed the boundaries in those areas.
Yeah.
But they didn't stop there.
Okay.
To boost its reasoning abilities, they did something quite interesting.
Oh.
They trained DeepSeek-V3 using data from another model, DeepSeek-R1, which is known for its long chain of thought reasoning skills.
So it's like I learned from a grandmaster of reasoning.
Precisely.
I'm impressed.
And the results speak for themselves. The paper indicates a significant improvement in DeepSeek-V3's reasoning capabilities after this training.
But there's always a trade-off, right?
Well, in this case, yes.
Yeah. There has to be some downside.
While its reasoning skills got a boost, it started producing slightly longer responses.
Okay.
But considering the performance gains, I think it's a reasonable trade-off.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So we've covered the efficient training, the clever architecture, and the enhanced reasoning.
Right.
Now, the big question,
The moment of truth.
how well does it actually perform?
Well, it's a top performer.
Oh, wow.
They put DeepSeek-V3 through a battery of benchmark tests,
Okay.
code math, you name it.
All right.
And it consistently scored incredibly well.
Yeah.
Sometimes even surpassing those big-name closed-source models like GPT-4o and Claude Sonnet 3.5.
Really?
It's clear that this isn't just a research project. This is a serious contender in the AI landscape.
Wow. Okay. Efficient training, a clever architecture, enhanced reasoning, and top-notch performance. Is there anything this model can't do?
Well, running this thing isn't exactly a walk in the park.
Oh, right. Of course.
The paper dives into the complex deployment strategy they use for DeepSeek-V3.
Right. Because even a super efficient AI still needs a supercomputer to run it.
You got it.
Okay. What kind of hardware are we talking about here?
Think of it like this. It takes a whole orchestra of super fast processors all working together in perfect harmony to run this one AI.
Really?
And even then, they had to come up with some really innovative strategies to make it work smoothly.
That's mind-boggling.
It really is.
It's like a symphony of processing power just to run one AI model. Incredible.
And they're not stopping there.
Oh.
They're already thinking about future AI hardware needs.
Okay.
The paper even includes suggestions for improvements like more efficient communication between processors and better support for low-precision computation.
It's exciting to see them pushing the boundaries of what's possible, not just with the AI models themselves, but with the hardware that runs them.
Yeah, it's like they're shaping the future of AI one innovation at a time.
So what stands out to you most about DeepSeek-V3 so far? What has you most intrigued?
Honestly, for me, it's the fact that they were able to achieve this level of performance and efficiency in an open source model.
Right.
I mean, that's a game changer.
It's huge. It's not just a technological breakthrough. It's a statement about making powerful AI accessible to everyone.
Exactly. And that brings us to a really important point, the open source nature of DeepSeek-V3.
Okay, let's talk about it. You mentioned it earlier, but I think it deserves its own spotlight.
Sure.
What does it mean for an AI model to be open source?
Good question.
And why is it such a big deal?
Essentially, open source means the code is freely available
Okay.
for anyone to use, modify, and distribute.
It's like giving the keys to the kingdom to anyone who's interested.
Kind of, yeah.
Why would they do that?
It's all about transparency, collaboration, and democratizing access to technology. You know, traditionally, the most powerful AI models have been tightly controlled by big tech companies.
Right.
But open source models like DeepSeek-V3 are challenging that dynamic.
So it's like they're saying, hey, we've built this amazing tool and we want everyone to benefit from it.
Exactly. And the implications are huge. I mean, it means more researchers can study and improve the model.
Right.
More developers can build applications with it.
Yeah.
More people can understand how it works.
This could potentially accelerate the pace of AI development in ways we haven't even imagined, right?
Absolutely. When more people can contribute to the code base, you get a much faster cycle of innovation and improvement.
It's almost like a philosophical stance on AI development, a belief that this technology should be shared and open to everyone, not kept behind closed doors. I love that.
Yeah, and I think that philosophy is reflected in their focus on efficiency and affordability. They clearly wanted to create a model that wasn't just powerful,
Yeah.
but also practical, something that researchers and developers with limited resources could actually use.
You said it levels the playing field and gives smaller companies, research institutions, even independent developers access to these powerful tools.
Precisely. And that could lead to some incredibly interesting and unexpected applications.
Yeah.
Just imagine what could happen when brilliant minds from all over the world can tinker with and build upon this technology.
This all sounds amazing.
It is exciting.
But I have to ask, are there any concerns about making a model as powerful as DeepSeek-V3 open source?
Sure.
Could it be used for harmful purposes?
That's a valid question. And any powerful technology can be misused. AI is no exception.
Right.
But I'd argue that the benefits of open source AI outweigh the risks.
Okay.
You see, with open access, More people can scrutinize the code, identify potential issues, and work together to create safeguards.
So more eyes on the road.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that.
Openness and transparency are crucial for responsible AI development.
All right, so we've established that open source AI is a good thing.
I think so.
But how about the data?
The data.
I'm always curious about what these models are trained on.
Yeah.
It's like their diet, right?
That's a great way to put it.
It shapes their worldview.
And DeepSeek-V3's diet is particularly interesting. The researchers took great care in assembling a diverse and high-quality data set.
Okay, give us the highlights. What kind of information did they feed this AI?
Well, they included a mix of text and code from a variety of sources.
Okay.
Books, articles, websites, code repositories. They even included data in multiple languages, not just English.
So it's a real polyglot.
It is a multilingual AI.
But why is that data diversity so important?
It's all about preventing bias and promoting generalization.
Okay.
If an AI is only trained on a narrow slice of data, it's more likely to reflect the limitations and biases of that data.
So it's like raising a child in a bubble.
Exactly.
They wouldn't have a well-rounded understanding of the world.
Right.
So how do you actually feed data to a language model? I mean, it's not like you can just hand it a stack of books and say, here you go, learn.
Haha. Right. Well, it's a fascinating process.
Yeah.
The text and code are converted into numerical representations, kind of like a secret code the model can decipher.
So it's like translating human language into machine language.
Exactly. And then through training, the model learns to recognize patterns in this numerical data,
Okay.
using those patterns to generate its own output.
It's mind-blowing how something as complex as language can be broken down into numbers and patterns.
Yeah.
But somehow it works.
The human brain works in mysterious ways, and it seems we're getting closer to replicating some of its magic with AI.
Okay, so we've talked about the architecture, the training, the data, the open source aspect. Is there anything else we need to know about how this model was built? Any secret ingredients?
Well, there's one more interesting tidbit.
Okay.
The researchers used a technique called fill in the middle during training.
Fill in the middle?
Yeah, they'd mask out a word in the middle of a sentence and challenge the model to fill in the blank.
Like a word puzzle for AI.
Exactly.
Clever.
And it was very effective. It forced the model to think deeply about the meaning and context of the surrounding words,
Okay.
which helped it develop a deeper understanding of language.
All right, so we've got a pretty solid understanding of the how of DeepSeek-V3.
I think so.
But I'm curious about the why.
Okay.
Why did they create this model in the first place?
Yeah.
What were they hoping to achieve?
That's a great question. I think their motivations went beyond simply creating another powerful AI model. You know, they were driven by a bigger vision to advance the field of open source AI and make its benefits accessible to a much wider audience.
It's like they're saying, we believe in the power of open collaboration and we want everyone to join this AI revolution.
Exactly. And their focus on efficiency and affordability shows that they're committed to making this technology accessible to everyone, not just those with vast resources.
By making DeepSeek-V3 freely available, they're basically giving the world a gift, a powerful tool that can be used for good in countless ways. I can't wait to see what people do with it.
I agree. It's an exciting time to be following the world of AI.
It really is.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So-
that's a great overview of DeepSeek-V3 and
Yeah.
its open source nature and its impressive capabilities. But now I really want to dig into how this thing actually performs on different tasks.
Let's do it.
All right, let's get into it.
All right. Okay, so let's dive into the performance of DeepSeek-V3.
Yeah, let's get down to the nitty-gritty.
Right.
The research paper highlighted some really impressive results.
Yeah, they did. One area that stood out was its performance on code and math-related tasks.
It blew other open source models out of the water
It did.
and even rivaled some of the top closed source models, didn't it?
Yeah, it consistently outperformed the competition.
It's like it had a knack for those logical and structured challenges.
It does seem that way.
Do you think there's something about that mixture of experts' architecture that makes it particularly suited to code and math?
That's an interesting thought.
Like having a whole team of specialized programmers and mathematicians working together?
It's possible that the ability to call upon those specialized experts gives it an edge in those domains.
Right.
On top of that, remember they trained it on a massive data set of code and math.
Oh, right.
So
Yeah.
it's had plenty of practice.
So it's a combination of the right architecture and the right training data. It sounds like a winning formula.
Indeed it does. And it makes you wonder what it could achieve with even further development and fine-tuning.
Yeah. Where do we go from here?
Right. Could we see AI systems that can write complex software programs? or even design entirely new algorithms?
That's a fascinating question to think about.
Yeah.
We always think of AI as being good at pattern recognition,
Uh-huh.
but true intelligence requires more than that. It
Yeah.
requires logic deduction, the
Yeah.
ability to connect the dots.
It's like the difference between memorizing facts and truly understanding them.
Exactly. And that's what makes DeepSeek-V3's focus on reasoning so intriguing. It's like we're witnessing the early stages of a technological revolution, one where AI systems become increasingly adept at tackling tasks that were once considered the exclusive domain of human intelligence.
It's definitely a pivotal moment in the evolution of AI. And the fact that DeepSeek-V3 is open source makes this revolution even more impactful, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
These advancements aren't limited to just a few companies or labs anymore.
It's a global effort, a collective push to unlock the full potential of AI.
Yeah, I like that.
So DeepSeek-V3 shines in code and math,
It does.
but it also performed well on other benchmarks, didn't it?
Yes, it may not have always been the top scorer in those general knowledge and reasoning tests,
Right.
but it consistently demonstrated strong capabilities in understanding and responding to a wide range of prompts and questions.
And to me, that's just as impressive as its code and math prowess. It suggests that it's not just a one-trick pony.
It's a versatile learner for sure.
It's a versatile and adaptable learner. Okay, so
Yeah?
it's a code whiz, a math genius, A&D, a well-rounded AI student with impressive general knowledge and reasoning skills, quite the overachiever.
You could say that, but even overachievers have their limits, right?
Right, of course.
No model is perfect, and the researchers acknowledge some limitations of DeepSeek-V3 in their paper.
Okay, like what?
Well, for instance, running this thing isn't exactly a walk in the park, even with all the efficiency improvements.
Right. We talked earlier about how it needs an incredible amount of computing power. Did the researchers have any thoughts on how future hardware could be improved to better support these massive AI models?
They did. They highlighted two key areas for improvement communication and computation.
Okay.
Think of it like this right now. The way different processors communicate within a supercomputer can create bottlenecks.
Okay.
It's like a superhighway with a few narrow bridges slowing everything down.
So we need to widen those bridges, so to speak.
Exactly. The researchers believe that future AI hardware should prioritize high-bandwidth, low-latency communication channels.
Okay.
They also suggested better hardware support for those low-precision data formats like FP8.
Oh, right. Like putting the supercomputer on a diet. That's exactly well. The hardware isn't quite catching up yet. By designing hardware that's more aligned with the needs of these low-precision AI models, we could see some serious leaps in efficiency.
So faster communication, better support for low precision.
That's the idea.
Wish list for the next generation of AI supercomputers.
Indeed, and these hardware advancements are essential. I mean, as models become more powerful and complex, the hardware needs to keep pace.
It's like a symbiotic relationship. They push each other forward.
Yeah.
DeepSeek-V3 is a perfect example of that, pushing the limits of what's currently possible while inspiring new ideas for the future of AI hardware.
I agree.
It really gives you a glimpse into what the future of AI might hold, doesn't it?
It does. A future where both the software and the hardware are constantly evolving to unlock even greater capabilities. Who knows what amazing breakthroughs await us on that journey?
That's exciting to think about. And I think it's important to consider the broader societal impact of these advancements as well. Yeah, you're right. It's not just about the technology itself. It's about how it shapes the world around us.
Exactly.
Models like DeepSeek-V3, with their increasing power and accessibility, will undoubtedly influence how we live, work, and interact with each other.
Yeah. What are some of the potential benefits you see emerging from models like this? What could the future hold?
Well, one of the most obvious benefits is the potential for increased productivity and efficiency.
Okay.
As AI systems become more adept at tasks that currently require human labor, we could see a shift in the workforce.
Right.
It's not about replacing jobs. It's about freeing up humans to focus on more creative and fulfilling endeavors.
It's like the automation wave of the Industrial Revolution, but on a much grander scale.
Yeah,
It's both exciting and a bit daunting.
it is. And it's not just about automating existing tasks. It's about augmenting human capabilities.
Okay.
Imagine AI systems assisting doctors with diagnoses,
Yeah.
lawyers with research, or architects with designs. The possibilities are truly endless.
I'm particularly excited about the potential for personalized education and healthcare.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine AI tutors tailoring their methods to each student's learning style, or AI systems analyzing medical data to provide personalized treatment recommendations.
It's about democratizing access to knowledge and expertise, making them available to everyone, regardless of their background.
These are all incredible potential outcomes.
They are.
But I think it's important to acknowledge the potential downsides as well.
Right.
With any powerful technology, there are always risks.
Of course, we need to proceed thoughtfully and consider the potential unintended consequences.
One concern I have is the potential for job displacement. What happens to workers if AI systems become capable of performing many of the tasks that currently employ millions of people?
That's a valid concern, and it's something policymakers and society as a whole need to grapple with.
Yeah.
We need to start thinking about how to prepare the workforce for these changes and how to create new economic opportunities.
It's a complex challenge,
It is.
but one we can't ignore.
Absolutely not. We need to be proactive and ensure that everyone benefits from these advancements, not just a select few.
Okay, now let's talk about another crucial aspect, the black box problem.
Ah, yes.
These AI models can feel a bit like magic. You feed them data and they produce results. But it's not always clear how they arrived at those results.
Right. That lack of transparency can be a concern, especially when AI systems are making decisions that have real-world consequences.
Yeah, like if an AI system is used to diagnose a medical condition or grant parole, for example.
Right.
You want to understand the reasoning behind its decision.
Absolutely. And it makes it difficult to debug these systems or ensure they're operating fairly.
So are we just stuck with these mysterious black boxes?
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
Fortunately, researchers are developing techniques to make AI systems more interpretable.
So we might actually be able to shed some light into these black boxes and see what's going on inside.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, one approach is to use visualization tools to map out the AI's decision-making process, showing which factors carry the most weight. Another approach is to develop algorithms that can explain their reasoning in plain language.
It's like giving AI systems a voice.
Yeah.
So they can articulate their thought processes.
Right,
That's
yeah.
a game changer for understanding and trusting these systems.
It certainly is. As these interpretability techniques improve, so too will our ability to work with AI systems effectively and ethically.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground benefits, potential risks, the black box problem. Now I'd like to take a step back and consider DeepSeek-V3's place in the larger AI landscape.
Okay.
This model has made a big splash.
It has.
What do you think its long-term impact will be?
Well, it's a powerful testament to the progress of open source AI development.
Okay.
Its success raises questions about the future direction of the entire field.
Right. Will we see more open source models like DeepSeek-V3 emerging?
It's hard to say for sure,
Yeah.
but I think DeepSeek-V3 is a strong sign that open source AI is a force to be reckoned with.
It's like the Linux revolution all over again, but for artificial intelligence. Back then, people wondered if an open source operating system could really compete with the giants.
Right.
And look what happened. Linux is everywhere now.
It's a great analogy. Open source AI has the potential to disrupt the landscape in profound ways, just as Linux did.
But with that disruption comes responsibility.
Absolutely.
We need to ensure open source AI is developed and deployed ethically with safeguards in place to prevent misuse.
We need to think carefully about the societal implications, the potential impact on jobs privacy, and even our social interactions.
Right.
The future of AI isn't predetermined. It's something we are actively shaping through our choices and actions.
That's a good point.
DeepSeek-V3, with its focus on open source development and what seems like a commitment to responsible AI principles, is a step in the right direction, wouldn't you say?
I completely agree. It's a reminder that AI is not just about technological progress. It's about human progress. It's about using our ingenuity to create a better world.
Exactly. And it's up to all of us to steer this powerful technology towards positive outcomes.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about the potential of DeepSeek-V3 to solve problems and improve lives.
We have.
But let's flip that around for a moment.
Sure.
What if instead of focusing solely on the problems we want AI to solve, we also considered the problems that AI itself might create?
That's an interesting thought. You're suggesting we need to think about the potential downsides more proactively.
Yeah, like a preemptive ethical assessment.
Precisely as AI systems become more powerful and autonomous, We need to anticipate potential unintended consequences.
What ethical dilemmas might arise? What safeguards do we need?
Those are the questions we need to be asking.
Yeah, it's like trying to anticipate those pitfalls before they become a reality.
Exactly. We need to have this conversation now before these technologies become so deeply embedded in our lives that it's too late to course correct.
Right.
AI has the power to both elevate and endanger humanity. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. It's a sobering thought,
It is.
but a crucial one.
Yeah.
We can't just blindly embrace technological progress without considering the potential consequences.
Well said. And on that note, I think we've reached the end of this part of our deep dive into DeepSeek-V3.
Okay.
But there's still much more to explore.
Yeah. You're right. We've only scratched the surface. There's a whole other layer to uncover.
Be sure to join us for the final installment of our DeepSeek-V3 saga. We'll be diving into some even more thought-provoking discussions about the future of AI.
Until then, keep those AI algorithms humming and keep those critical thinking gears turning. Welcome back to the deep dive. We're wrapping up our exploration of DeepSeek-V3, this incredible open source AI that's been shaking things up.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey.
It really has. And today we're getting into some of the deeper, more thought-provoking aspects of this technology.
Okay, sounds good.
We'll be examining its limitations and pondering its place in the broader AI landscape.
Right.
We've already covered a lot of ground.
We have.
We've seen how efficient DeepSeek-V3 is, how well it performs,
Right.
and why open source AI is such a game changer.
Yeah.
But now we need to look at the full picture, including the potential challenges that come with such powerful AI.
Right, because as AI systems become more sophisticated and integrated into our lives,
Yeah.
it's crucial to examine the potential downsides and figure out how to address them.
One issue that keeps coming up is
If-
this idea of bias in AI.
Oh, yes. Bias.
We touched on it briefly before,
Right.
but I think it deserves a closer look.
Sure.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's a complex problem.
Okay.
Bias can sneak in from the data used to train these models,
Okay.
from the algorithms themselves,
Right.
or even from the intentions of the people who develop them.
Sure.
And the consequences can be serious,
Yeah.
leading to unfair outcomes in all sorts of areas.
Like imagine an AI system used to screen job applicants
Right.
that consistently favors candidates from a particular background,
Exactly.
or a loan approval system that disadvantages applicants from certain neighborhoods
Yeah, those are scenarios we definitely want to avoid.
at all costs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So how do we tackle this challenge? Yeah, that's the big question.
Well, there's no easy fix, but researchers and developers are working on several strategies.
Like what?
One approach is to make sure the data used to train the AI is diverse and truly representative of the people it will be used on.
Right. So it's not just about collecting a ton of data.
Yeah.
It's about actively seeking out data from groups and perspectives that are often underrepresented.
Exactly. It's like making sure the AI has a well-rounded education.
I like that analogy.
The more balanced the training data, the less likely the AI is to perpetuate existing biases.
Okay, that makes sense. What else?
Another strategy is to develop algorithms that are more transparent and accountable.
Right, because if you can understand how the AI is making its decisions,
Exactly.
it's much easier to spot and correct potential biases.
Precisely. It's like having a clear window into the AI's thought process instead of it being a mysterious black box.
Speaking of black boxes,
Yeah.
let's talk about that for a minute.
Sure. It often feels like these complex AI models are just that black boxes. You feed them data, they spit out results, but you don't really know what's happening in between.
Right, that lack of transparency can be a big problem, especially when AI is making decisions that impact people's lives.
Yeah, if an AI is being used to diagnose a medical condition
Right.
or recommend someone for parole,
Mm-hmm.
you want to understand how it reached its conclusion.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's about trust. You need to be able to trust the AI's judgment.
Yeah.
And that's hard to do if you don't understand how it works.
And the black box problem also makes it really difficult to fix errors or ensure the AI is operating ethically.
You're right,
Yeah.
but there's hope. Researchers are making progress in developing techniques to make AI systems more interpretable.
So we might actually be able to shed some light into these black boxes and see what's going on inside.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, one approach is to use visualization tools to map out the AI's decision-making process, showing which factors it's prioritizing. Another is to create algorithms that can explain their reasoning in plain English, like giving them a voice so they can justify their decisions.
Wow, that's amazing.
It is pretty cool.
It would be like having the AI say, I made this decision because of X, Y, and Z.
Exactly.
That would go a long way toward building trust and understanding.
For sure.
Okay, so now I want to shift gears and talk about DeepSeek-V3's role in the bigger picture of AI.
Right.
This model has generated so much buzz.
It has.
What do you think its long-term impact will be?
It's hard to say for certain, but I think DeepSeek V3 represents a real turning point for open source AI.
In what way?
Well, its success raises some big questions about where the field is headed.
Right, like will we see a whole wave of powerful open source models like this one?
Possibly.
Will they eventually rival the capabilities of those big closed source models from tech giants?
It's definitely a possibility.
Yeah.
I think DeepSeek V3 is a strong sign that open source AI is a force to be reckoned with.
It's like the Linux revolution all over again, but for artificial intelligence.
I was just thinking that.
Back then, people doubted that an open source operating system could ever compete with the big players. But now Linux is everywhere.
Right. It's a great analogy. Open source AI has the potential to disrupt the landscape in profound ways, just as Linux did.
But with that disruption comes responsibility.
Of course.
We need to ensure open source AI is developed and deployed ethically with safeguards in place.
We do. We need to think carefully about the implications for jobs, privacy, and even the way people interact with each other.
It's a lot to consider.
It is. The decisions we make today will shape the future of AI.
DeepSeek V3, with its open source nature and its focus on efficiency, seems like a good model for the future of AI, don't you think?
I do. It feels like a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that AI isn't just about technological progress. It's about human progress.
Right.
It's about using our ingenuity to create a better world.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about the potential for AI to solve problems.
We have.
But what about the flip side? What about the problems that AI itself might create?
That's a crucial question to ask. As AI systems become more powerful and autonomous, we need to consider the potential unintended consequences.
Like what?
We need to be thinking about the ethical dilemmas, the potential risks, and the safeguards we'll need.
So it's like taking a proactive approach to AI ethics, trying to anticipate the potential issues before they become a reality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a conversation we need to have now before these technologies are so woven into the fabric of our lives that it's too late to change course.
AI has the potential to both uplift and endanger humanity.
It does.
And it's up to us to guide it in the right direction.
Well said.
You've given me a lot to think about. It's a sobering reminder that we can't just blindly embrace technological progress without considering the full picture.
But I'm glad it sparked some thought. Remember, at the end of the day, AI is a tool that we created and that we control.
Right.
We have the power to shape its future and ensure it serves humanity, not the other way around.
That's a powerful statement and a great note to end on. So here we are at the end of our deep dive into DeepSeek V3.
It's been quite a journey.
It really has. We've explored the technical details, the potential benefits, and the ethical considerations. It's clear that this model is a significant development in the world of AI.
It's been a fascinating exploration, and I hope it's been as insightful for our listeners as it has been for me.
I think we've both learned a lot. It's been great having you here to break it all down.
The pleasure was all mine. And to everyone listening, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and never stop learning. The world of AI is constantly changing, and there's always something new to discover.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep those AI algorithms humming and those critical thinking gears turning.
And as always, stay curious.